allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Today is Monday, February 26, 2018. Can I have a roll call, please?
Basil.
Here.
Meyer.
Here.
Charles. Missouri. Here. Capros.
Here.
Wheeling.
Here.
We have the minutes from February 12th. Are there any changes, corrections? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion made and there is a second. Any questions of that motion? Roll call.
Basil.
Yes.
Meyer.
Yes.
Missouri. Yes. Capros.
Yes.
Wheeling.
Yes.
Clerk's report.
The tax income received since last month at this time is $175,194.24. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the deadline to purchase dog tags is March 15th, and after the 15th, the price increases to $15 each.
Thank you. Under recognition of audience, I'd like to start tonight. And we have a presentation to make. And we have with us tonight the Weiss River family. Jackie and children are here, so they can step up, please.
I know I talked to you about this a couple months ago, and we wanted to recognize Jeff for his service to the community, to the department, 30 years of service to the community. And what we did was we framed badges, ribbons, patches that he wore while he was here. We got an ID card there, signed by the great Paul Bowman. That's a collector's item.
Yep.
And like I said, we want to present this to you as a memento, and make sure the family had it, make sure they can display it proudly. So
We will, thank you
that's
so
what we have
much.
for you guys.
And you'll always be part of our family.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Aw. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's nice. It's heavy.
Everybody wants to take a closer look from that.
Yeah,
It's very nicely done.
it is. So nice.
As long as you don't have to make a speech, right?
I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks. That's neat.
Okay, do anyone else from the audience wish to address the board? If not, Finance and Administration, Trustee Beecher.
Okay, proposed budget was handed out under separate cover. A paper copy of the proposed budget is being provided tonight, which will be used for our workshop session on March 5th. The cover memo on the budget highlights the important aspects of the budget. Please bring this with you on Monday, March 5th. Special board meeting will begin at 6 p.m.
We'll bring some pizza.
I'm sorry?
We'll have some pizza here, Frank. Might not be to your liking.
Okay,
Frank's bringing pizza?
that's good. I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Illinois Municipal Insurance Cooperative Status Report. The books have been closed on our first year of operation, fiscal year 13 and 14, leaving $142,000 in unobligated funds. It was decided that these funds would be distributed back to the membership proportionately to their premiums over the period of 3 years. In succeeding years, the same formula would apply. For example, Beecher's portion of the $142,000 is $18,000. So we will receive $6,000 per year over the 3 years. The following year, we would receive another $6,000, so our annual dividend in 2019 would be $12,000, and so on. It was decided to spread this distribution out over 3 years, so if we have a bad year, we still receive some dividends. The enclosed report will be explained by the administrator further at the meeting.
Find our reports real quick. And the number that we're referring to is the circled number. And you can't close the books for 3 years to make sure no claims are filed against that fiscal year by somebody that was maybe filed a claim against one of our clients. But as you can see, we are producing 6-digit reserves every year. And the number next to it is what they call the IBNR reserve. That number actually goes into an obligated balance every year when we close the books. So next year, the 114 might add an additional 38,000 to it. And in 16, the 115 would have another 135,000 added to it if those amounts aren't used for set-asides to pay claims. So we're very happy with the results of the fund. Every year we're doing better. And I think finally this liability pool is going to pay off for us. And we're a founding member too.
All right, the next item, Illinois Personnel Benefits Cooperative Quarterly Report is also enclosed for your review. Beecher's portion of the health insurance pool was $31,154 in terminal reserves, profits from prior year. In addition to $75,000, which was carried over from 2017 into 2018. At this time, health insurance rates are projected to increase for Beecher by 2.9% on July 1st, 2018. The next item is auditors releases financial comparison report for its clients. This report is released so that Beecher can compare itself to other municipal clients for comparable size using verifiable and comparable data. This is also information purposes. This is for information purposes only. So, if anyone has any questions on the audit? If not, that ends my report.
Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation, trustee Graham.
Okay, at one time during the strategic planning, it was discussed, there was a question about a park district referendum. And we did go out to the attorney and we got an opinion. And the park district referendum question must be petition driven and cannot be created by any action of the village board. The attorney was consulted and it was determined that the village cannot self-initiate this process. It must be a petition of the voters within the village and only 100 signatures are required. The information is in your, I don't know if you want to say anything else about that.
That's about it. I know we discussed that at strategic planning and
Right.
we thought we'd get an answer. I thought we could initiate it by ordinance in the village limits, but everything has to be done by.
I thought that's what we discussed in strategic planning, that if it was a grassroots effort, then it would come from, I mean.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah, but I thought that's what we had all said, I mean, that's what it even says.
You might be, I don't remember that coming out of strategic planning, that did come up before when we were thinking about the golf course, that it had to be done from a grassroots effort. So all he did was repeat what we already knew, just refresh our memory.
Okay, Gallagher Bassett conducts safety inspections of the village properties. There are photos attached and comments as far as what they had found when they went around. There were a couple playgrounds and then there were a few things in the maintenance building. Did you want to add anything more to that?
The maintenance issues at the building have been taken care of. They were pretty minor. At the parks, we corrected the ones that we could. A couple of the buddy benches have to be reinstalled into the ground where they were pulled out. But and then there's some other corrective work that has to get done as the weather gets better.
Right, there's also mulching and
Right.
different things like that. I think there was some exposed concrete and things like that. So those will be taken care of.
I have a real funny story, Scott. The new chief came for a tour of the police station and he tripped over one of the items that was in
In the safety inspection.
that has to be fixed. Yes, sir.
It wasn't workman's comp yet, so we were good.
Okay, all right. So it's painted, is it painted yellow yet or no?
It will be.
We're gonna look for a cover. I think your line has some like rubber covers. You can
Yeah,
put
that'd
on.
probably be
Okay.
better than painting.
All right. Because those exposed nuts, you know.
Painting it yellow doesn't solve our problem.
Yeah.
You need to cover it.
Okay,
So,
good. All right. Consider a motion approving the partnership agreement with the Will County Forest Preserve for 2018. This came up in 2017, and I don't see anything different in this, but it's a cooperation with the the Will County Forest Preserve.
Yeah, the only caveat is the village will partner, but we have no say over like the library district or some of the other things she mentions in there. It's more of a community partnership than a village partnership.
Right.
We can pass a motion proving our part of it.
Okay, so I'd
We
like
don't speak
to,
for those other.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion from the village side of this partnership agreement that we would approve the partnership.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, any questions of the motion? Roll call.
Whalen?
Yes.
Caprows?
Yes.
Missouri?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Basil?
Yes.
That ends my report.
Planning, building, and zoning, trustee Zerk.
Building Department monthly report is enclosed for your review. Planning and Zoning Commission tables amendments to the RV trailer and camper ordinance for a period of 1 year. Encloses a report and survey conducted by Tesca and Associates on the ordinances currently on the books in surrounding jurisdictions. The PZC was if the opinion that the current ordinance was substantially similar to other ordinances and we decided to table the matter and review the issue again in 1 year, just to kind of see what comes up in this new season and what kind of problems we may or may not have. And that ends my report.
Public Safety Committee, trustee.
Okay, new chief assumes his duties on March 1st, correct?
That's correct. He has been out here to visit on site.
Okay. And then there'll be a formal ceremony and oath of office will occur on our meeting on March 12th.
I was instructed to keep the agenda brief that night, because we would probably have cake and coffee after the oath of office.
Okay.
Unless something urgent comes up before.
All right. Both the monthly reports, police department monthly report is enclosed. Code enforcement monthly report is enclosed in the report. EMA monthly report is also enclosed. Police department annual report is also enclosed. There's a lot in here for the police department. EMA annual report and also the code enforcement annual report is also included. So there's monthly and annual reports. And that concludes this report.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, trustee Burke.
Water Department and Sewer Department monthly reports are enclosed for your review. Annual report of the water and sewer system is also enclosed. Annual pump to bill ratio was 69.5% for 2017. The month with the lowest ratio, the lowest loss ratio was February at 74%, and it went as high of a loss ratio of 58.5%. That's just something that we're working on. I think these numbers are a little skewed with doing the water main replacement. I'm sure there's a big portion there. Public Works Department annual report is closed for review. I don't know if anyone had a chance to read through it, if they had any questions.
I think key there is we replaced 133 meters. Is that
Yes.
the number I remember from last year?
Oh.
And we just went ahead and purchased a ton of meters for this.
Yeah, so there'll be a little more, the numbers will be a little more exaggerated. What I would like to point out though is that last year, you only had 9 water main breaks, and I would like to say that, you know, replacing Penfield had a great amount to do with that, because the year before we had 23. So just by doing the math alone, putting that main in, probably saved about $70,000.
But now that you talked about a water main break,
No, I had, well, Oh, no, hill too steep.
Which I did notice the decrease in the numbers, which is definitely a positive thing. Chestnut Street light update. Yeah, skip one. That's alright, I'll hit it next. Buddy, you got an update on that? Everything's up and running, right?
Just waiting for ComEd to actually come out and finish doing the tie-in. I got in touch with them, numbers. I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet. Just waiting on them.
Okay. Everything on our end is complete.
Yes, it is.
Penfield Street STP project update, isn't close for your review. The target letting date is still set for January 1, 2020. So, a little under 2 years and counting. Dunbar water main update, that's what we approved last meeting. Surveying's been done. They got ahead of it, the snow melting. Surveying is now complete. Hope to bid this project out sometime in May. I still think it, optimistically as I am, I think it's gonna happen by mid-April, but we'll see. Beecher wastewater treatment plant update. As soon as we receive the loan offer, we should be any day now. Have we gotten it?
Not yet.
No, not today.
There's a pool going on, is what they is coming.
Yeah, we will execute it and then give notice to proceed to IHC, who was the low bid. Work will begin around April 1st and last through the summer of 2019. When the plan is completed, plan on a ribbon cutting and an open house tour.
You may have received a deduct even before the job started, because now I have 2 people that want our dirt
Yeah.
within the range for the deduct. So that's good news for us. It could be another 112,000.
Nice. That concludes my report.
Economic Development Community Relations Trustee, Meyer.
Village to begin economic development work on new Location 1 service platform provided by the state of Illinois DCEO. The old site was called Lois. I don't know if they still have that same name or not, but a new platform has been launched and village staff is going to begin downloading sites and buildings to the new website service provided by the state for real estate brokers and developers looking for commercial and industrial land and buildings. The new platform is GIS based and should make searching for desirable sites and buildings much easier for the customer. Their old one was slightly more cumbersome. Sesquicentennial update. Several ideas have been floating around in committee over the last month. One of the ideas is to publish a new chapter for the 1995 Quasquicentennial book and make it as an insert for the old book. It would be less expensive to produce and ads could be sold to finance the project. Shirley Berry, the author of the 1995 book, has been approached and she's excited to serve on a book committee if the village wishes this project to be done. The village has also discussed the possibility of having a series of events over a weekend, possibly on Lions Club Summerfest weekend, as opposed to having the event during 4th of July. Another idea is to have special street banners made for that year, and perhaps the chamber could head up that project. These are just kind of ideas at this point. Did Lions Club talk about it?
Yes, yeah, we're excited. Yeah. We're excited to be part of it.
Yep. So, plans will continue, and that ends my report.
Question, now that I had the answer from the chamber that they didn't want the app, is there an ending date for the app, or is it just stay out there, or what do we do? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you that earlier.
No, that's okay, and I think we used to always start it up kind of May 1st.
Yeah, May.
So
Because
around
we
May
always
1st.
made the payment, yeah, I'm assuming end of fiscal year is probably, because that's when the billing used to always come through.
We'll string them when we get the bill, we'll send the letter back with the bill saying
They can shut
you
it
shut it
down.
off, we're done.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Under my report, this morning, village manager and myself, or village administrator and myself met with county representatives, surrounding town representatives, Creek, Peatone, Moline, who else was there?
Will County officials, Will County Highway Superintendent.
We have been talking for quite some time, as I've been reporting before, about complaining about not sitting around waiting until the trucks are here, because they already are here, and trying to come up with solutions of where they're gonna go, and so on and so forth, especially when the CSX intermodal is built. And it's prompted now today with the second meeting with the county to try and come up with some solutions of where we would steer the trucks when necessary, or when coming out of the CSX, or other developments that are going on. Moni is hinting around that there's some other kind of big development somewhere
Bigger than Amazon.
it's bigger than Amazon, which, who knows what it is. The bottom line is what we're trying to do is we're trying to get off the dead horse and start talking about the roads in the area to try and handle the existing traffic that we have now. In fact, as we sat here, you just hear the trucks go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, and like we're wondering where are they all actually coming from. So there's discussion being had as where the surrounding towns would possibly all have a traffic survey done and try and figure out, like for instance, if there's 50 trucks hitting Crete at a certain point in time, but there's only 25 hitting Beecher, then you know between here and Beecher they're going somewhere else and what route are they taking. Trying to figure out where they're going, where they're coming from, and so on and so forth. Just some brainstorms coming up. Obviously, I think we're at the most disadvantage because all we have is Goodnow to the north. We have county line to the south. And Indiana is not the best route, plus it's restricted because of length in Indiana. Trucks.
About 65 feet
Yeah.
now.
So I think we're one of the worst where if we want to send the trucks east or west, there's no place for them to go except those roads. And they're not the best of shape, and if you send them with the exception of county line, if you send them down Goodnow, they're only going to get so far where they're going to get stopped by Monique, and then they have to take a different route. So bottom line is we're trying to come up with truck routes. We've identified that if you put of course I tried it this morning and it didn't come out the way the truck driver claimed there. When they put it in their GPS, the GPS is directing them to go that way, and then when they get that way, where they're going to go. So they either commit a violation or they try and find another route. So they're trying to get the GPS people on board that when you put in for a route, designate the truck routes. And they have a common location to look for that, so they're all steered in the right direction rather than steering them out in the middle of nowhere, which they have been doing.
And they're pushing us all to go into the ox cart system, which is a truck.
Use ox cart? Permit the ox cart, it's called ox cart.
We do not, had previously discussed it, when Chief gets on board, they're using Lamont, so I think it's pretty much a done deal.
Before we get, that's the route they want.
But the county wants all the counties, municipalities to adopt it as well.
Well,
And then they're going to upload the truck route into that system.
And the reason they want to do that is pretty much state of Illinois is almost a paperless permit system. And this is another layer that people can go online and take care of all their permits to go state level, county, city level. No cost to us, we actually
Correct.
pay them probably before they get to.
Actually, they just mail you a check once a month is what they do.
Yeah. The thing is that the truck routes are online right now. They're not accessing them. You can actually go to Get Around Illinois,
Mhm.
and it'll drop down. It's a multi-layer map that'll show them truck routes.
The problem is the municipalities have not provided the state with their truck routes. Ours, Church Road is on there because we've reported it to the state. But a lot of municipalities, Moni included, never reported their truck routes to the state, so they were never on that IDOT map, and that's what we're trying to fix.
They're claiming it's not complete. I haven't looked at it, so I don't.
Well, the issue is county line's not a truck route and Goodnow's not a truck route.
Correct.
I mean, they can travel out there 80,000 pounds, 65 feet bumper to bumper. They can't be in excess of that.
Here's the other problem. Route 50, north of Beecher Road, is a much different classification of road because they don't want the trucks to avoid the scales on 57.
Correct answer.
So they changed the designation of Route 50, but that really restricts your ability to get freight around, So they have some problems they gotta fix.
Just very optimistic that we're finally getting it, because this isn't the first time we tried to get this off the ground. We're finally getting somewhere. There's already talk about another meeting.
Right, and there was a fallacy out there, and correct me if I'm wrong. Every truck can be 80,000 now.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. There's no,
Well, depending on the length of the truck, there's bridge laws.
there's
Certain
a bridge
trucks,
that's supposed
the
to-
smaller trucks, the bombers can't be, they can pay for a special hauling, but they can't be that heavy, and it's based on the length of the truck. So in theory, if you think you're 53-foot trailer and truck tractor, 80,000 pounds, the smaller you go on a truck, the less weight it can carry. They can pay to carry extra or get a permit. But your smaller trucks, no. But if you use it as your rule of thumb, you're probably in good shape.
but the old days of 72,380.
73,280, that's gone.
Those are gone.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, last week, they also had a meeting with the townships, with the surrounding area, talking about different enforcement as far as the frost laws, but other enforcement as far as from what I understand, the stop signs and so on and so forth, the patrols and for the speed limits in the the outlying areas, which they also brought up the trucks with them too. So they're all inclusive. Again, may not see it in our lifetime as solutions, but at least we're starting discussions. Right?
Who's initiating all this, the county?
We did. We're the ones who,
It was the first regional meeting in the county. The county does want to do this all over, but we're the first group of mayors on the east end that started this whole process.
The eastern counties basically got it off the grid. It's been, I think, overwhelming to receive it. I was very optimistic this morning.
I mean, if the Creed intermodal does go in, it's really exacerbate your truck problem, and everybody realizes that.
Okay, the strategic plan for 2018 to 2022, did anybody have any changes to that? If not, can I have a motion to approve that draft?
You got a resolution number?
2018-03.
I'll make a motion approving resolution 2018-03, adopting a strategic plan for 2018 through 2022.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second to that motion, any questions? Roll call.
Basil?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Mazurik?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Whalen?
Yes.
Any old business to come before the board? New business? No.
We're going to Springfield.
We have a meeting with the governor. We do not need to go in executive session, therefore can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
There's a second, any questions on that motion? Roll call.
Whalen?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Mazurik?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes.
26 minutes.
Thanks, everybody.
You remember
That
Paul
might be a
Roman
record.
Yep.
going through the annual reports?
Yep.